There comes a time in every person's life when they face a decision that will define everything. Not just what they do, but who they become. A moment where there's no turning back. A moment where you either step into your destiny, or retreat into the shadows of your potential. And when that moment comes, you don't get to ease into it. You don't get to negotiate with fear. You don't get to wait for a perfect time. You burn the boats. You eliminate the option of going back. You destroy the escape plan. You silence the voice that says, "What if this doesn't work?" And you replace it with one relentless decision. I will win, or I will die trying. That's the level of commitment required to build a life that matters. The problem isn't that people don't dream big. It's that they dream with a backup plan. They say they want freedom, but hold on to security. They say they want greatness, but act like average is acceptable. They say they want to lead, but live like they're still asking for permission. Let me tell you something. No one builds an empire with one foot out the door. No one becomes legendary while still craving the approval of people who settled. You have to burn the boats. That's what Hernán Cortés did when he landed in Mexico in 1519 with 600 men and a dream of conquering an empire. He burned the ships that brought them there. No retreat. No surrender. No plan B. You either fight and win or die on this island. And the truth is, your dream is your island. And as long as you keep the ships docked, you will always wonder if you should just sail home. But greatness doesn't come to the comfortable. It comes to the committed. Part 2. You were not put here to play small. You weren't born just to survive the day, pay the bills, and die with your dreams still inside you. You were born with a spark, a voice, a vision so specific to your soul that ignoring it will eat you alive. But here's the truth. That vision? It's expensive. It will cost you your excuses. It will cost you your comfort. It will cost you the old version of yourself that made peace with mediocrity. See, the moment you declare your dream, life will test you. Not to destroy you, but to prove you. To see if you're serious. To see if you're all talk, or if you're ready to walk through fire to get what's already yours. And make no mistake. It's already yours. The vision isn't random. The fire in your gut, the ache in your chest, the whisper that won't leave you alone, that's your future calling. But it won't wait forever. You can't keep negotiating with it. You can't keep showing up half-hearted, dipping your toe in the water, waiting for a guarantee. This isn't a test you pass with answers. It's one you pass with decision. So decide. Not "I'll try." Not "I hope." Not "let me see how it goes." Decide. That this is the version of you that refuses to die unknown. That refuses to let fear outrun faith. That refuses to end the story before it really begins. Because once you burn the boats, you stop looking for ways out. And you start creating ways through. You stop hoping for a shortcut. And you start becoming the kind of person who doesn't need one. And when you do that, when you finally say, "I'm all in," everything changes. People can feel it. Doors open that were once locked. The universe starts responding, not to your words, but to your energy. Because energy doesn't lie. Conviction can't be faked. And greatness doesn't come to the most talented. It comes to the most committed. Part 3. Belief is where everything begins. Not talent. Not luck. Not who you know. Belief. The inner fire that says, even if no one else sees it yet, I do. Because before anyone else believes in you, you have to be the one who refuses to doubt yourself. And not just on your good days. Not just when things are working. But especially when it's quiet. When no one's clapping. When the results aren't showing yet. That's when belief becomes real. That's when it stops being a quote on your wall and starts becoming a decision in your soul. Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." And he was. Because your life will rise or fall to the level of your belief. If you believe you're average, you'll settle. If you believe you're unworthy, you'll self-sabotage. If you believe success is for other people, you'll always watch from the sidelines while the game passes you by. But if you believe you were made for more purpose, more power, more impact, then you start moving differently. You show up early. You stay late. You speak with intention. You act with clarity. And that belief? It becomes magnetic. People start to notice. Opportunities start appearing. Not because they were never there, but because now, you're finally ready to claim them. But belief without discipline is a fantasy. And discipline is where most people break. Everybody wants the dream until it asks for their weekends. Until it demands their focus. Until it calls for sacrifice. That's when the weak look for exits and the strong dig in. Discipline means showing up especially when you don't feel like it. It means choosing long-term greatness over short-term comfort. It means building habits so strong that motivation becomes irrelevant. Because motivation is emotional. It fades. It shifts. But discipline is built. It's hardwired. It's the backbone of high performance. It's how Navy SEALs train. It's how Kobe Bryant practiced. It's how every game changer in history separated themselves from the rest. They didn't rely on inspiration. They relied on structure. On consistency. On doing the thing even when it was boring, lonely, or exhausting. And you must too. Because you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. So what are your habits saying about your future? Part 4. Let's talk about vision, because if belief is the engine, and discipline is the fuel, vision is the map. Without it, you're just busy that you're running, grinding, chasing, but for what? A paycheck, some likes on a screen, a life that looks good but feels empty? That's not a vision. That's a trap, and most people are caught in it. You need a vision so clear, so vivid, that it pulls you out of bed in the morning and keeps you going when nothing else does. You need to see the life you're building, before anyone else does. You need to see the house. The health. The mission. The movement. The impact. You need to close your eyes and feel it, like it's already real. Because clarity creates power. When you know exactly what you want, you stop wasting time, you stop chasing things that don't matter, you stop saying yes to what drains you and start saying no like your future depends on it, because it does. Steve Jobs once said, "Focusing is about saying no." And that's the truth. You're not here to do 100 things halfway, you're here to do a few things fully with fire. With purpose. With total focus. And that purpose, that's the anchor. Purpose is what makes you dangerous, because when someone's moving with purpose, you can't distract them, you can't tempt them, you can't knock them off course with noise, trends, or opinions, because they're not driven by praise, they're driven by conviction. Purpose is what kept Martin Luther King Jr. marching. It's what drove Thomas Edison through 10,000 failures. It's what kept Harriet Tubman returning to rescue more slaves even after she had already earned her own freedom. Purpose is not optional. It's the core of a meaningful life, and if you don't have it, you'll fill your life with things that feel urgent, but mean nothing. You'll chase success without fulfillment, progress without peace, growth without grounding. But with purpose, everything changes. Even your pain becomes fuel, even your setbacks become sacred, even the darkest nights become part of the fire that forges you. You don't just survive, you evolve. Because purpose isn't about comfort, it's about calling, and calling isn't convenient, it's necessary. So, what are you called to do? What have you been avoiding? What dream has been sitting in your chest, waiting for you to stop pretending you're okay playing small? This is the moment to answer it.to. Stop rehearsing the plan and start living it.to. Stop consulting your doubts and start trusting your direction. Because here's the truth, no one wants to say out loud, time is not promised, you don't get to wait forever, the boats are burning whether you like it or not. So the question is, will you run toward the fire, or spend your life running from your own potential? Part 5. Let's get one thing straight, you will be tested, you will fail, you will be knocked down, laughed at, rejected, overlooked, underestimated, and still be expected to rise. That's not unfair. That's the price of greatness. The world doesn't hand out power to the unproven, it tests you first, and your job isn't to avoid the fire, your job is to become fireproof. Resilience isn't just bouncing back. It's bouncing forward. It's taking a hit and learning from it. It's falling on your face and still looking ahead. It's showing up on the days you feel broken and bleeding and saying, let's go again. Because nothing can break a person who's decided they will not stop. History remembers those who kept going. Lincoln failed in business, lost multiple elections, and buried loved ones, yet still became one of America's most legendary leaders. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity. Oprah was fired from her first job and told she wasn't fit for TV. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. You know what all of them had? Adaptability. They learned, they adjusted, they didn't get stuck in the way things used to be, they evolved into what they needed to become. That's the difference between those who stay stuck and those who rise. They don't just hold the vision, they adjust the method. If the road's blocked, they find another way. If the door closes, they build a new one. If the system fails, they become the system. Adaptability is the superpower of this century. In a world changing faster than ever, the ones who win aren't the strongest, they're the most flexible. They're the ones who take chaos and turn it into clarity, who take pressure and turn it into diamonds. Because every setback contains a seed, and that seed, if watered with learning, discipline, and patience, grows into wisdom, and wisdom leads to unshakable confidence. You start realizing, I've been through worse than this. I've survived what was meant to destroy me. I don't need it to be easy, I just need it to be mine. And when that mindset locks in, you become unstoppable. Because now, you don't fear failure, you expect it, and use it. You don't fear rejection, you respect it as part of the climb. You don't fear change, you demand it. Why? Because you're not trying to stay the same. You're not chasing comfort anymore. You're chasing growth. You're chasing a life that feels like fire and freedom. You're chasing everything you were born to become. And that doesn't happen by staying safe, that doesn't happen by staying the same. That only happens when you look life in the eye and say, break me if you must, but I will not break. Take everything, I'll still rise. Burn every bridge behind me, I'm not going back anyway. Part 6. No matter how far you go, no matter how much you build, achieve, or conquer, there's one thing that will always determine whether you rise or fall. Your ability to learn. Learning isn't something you do in school and leave behind. It's a way of life. The greatest minds, Carnegie, Franklin, Jobs, Mandela, they were obsessive students of life. Because growth doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't care what you think you already know. It only responds to those who are willing to admit, I can do better. I can know more. I can become more. That's what separates winners from watchers. Winners stay teachable. They don't let pride poison their progress. They don't pretend to have all the answers, they go find them. They read. They study. They fail. They adapt. Watch someone who's truly winning, not just on the surface, but deep down. You'll notice something. They're hungry, not just for success, but for understanding. They ask questions. They take notes. They stay curious. Because the moment you stop learning, you start dying. And learning isn't just about knowledge. It's about humility. Humility is what keeps your success from turning into arrogance. It's what reminds you that no matter how high you climb, you're always one decision away from slipping. And that the wisest people in the room are usually the quietest. Humility is the strength to listen, to receive, to evolve. Not because you're weak, but because you're wise enough to know you don't know it all. And when you live with humility, you naturally unlock another force. Gratitude. Gratitude isn't some soft, fluffy emotion. It's fuel. It's what turns pain into power. It's what turns pressure into perspective. It's what reminds you that even on your worst day, you're still blessed. If you've got breath in your lungs, strength in your hands, and a mind that can think, you are already rich. But if you don't recognize what you have, you'll never value what you build. Gratitude keeps you grounded while you're climbing. It keeps your heart open while your vision expands. It reminds you that this moment, the grind, the journey, the stretch, this is the reward. Not just the trophy. Not just the money. Not just the spotlight. The growth. The becoming. The becoming is the dream, asterisk asterisk. You don't chase success because you're empty. You chase it because you're full of fire. Full of potential. Full of something this world needs to see. And when you wake up with that kind of purpose, when you look around and say thank you before you even say let's go, you step into every day with a force the world can't deny. Because now, you're not just working for results. You're working from alignment. From conviction. From gratitude. From a place of overflow. Part 7. So now we're here. At the edge. The moment that separates wishing from doing. Hoping from deciding. Existing from living. And you have a choice to make. You can keep the boats. You can keep one foot in the life you've outgrown. Keep listening to the fear. Keep asking small questions. Keep negotiating with your potential as if your dream is optional. Or, you can burn the damn boats. Burn the lies. Burn the doubt. Burn the belief that says you're not ready, not worthy, not enough. Because the truth is, you've been ready. You've just been scared. And that's okay. Fear is human. But playing small? That's a decision, asterisk asterisk. The world doesn't need another half-lit soul playing it safe. It needs people who are all in. People who aren't just chasing dreams. They're claiming them. So let this be the moment you cross the line. Let this be the second you stop waiting for permission. Let this be the place where your past dies. And your future is born. Because real power isn't found in maybe. It's found in the fire. The fire of someone who's had enough of holding back. The fire of someone who knows that comfort is the enemy of legacy. The fire of someone who's looked their excuses in the eye and said, "No more." This is your life. This is your shot. This is your chapter. This is your name etched into history or lost to time. You don't get another one. So don't you dare wait. Don't you dare settle. Don't you dare look back one day and wonder what would have happened if you had just gone all in. Because that's the greatest pain of all. Not failure. Regret. Failure teaches. Regret haunts. So choose boldness. Choose belief. Choose the version of you that doesn't flinch. The version that leads. That builds. That refuses to be silenced. The version that stands on the ashes of the boats they burned and declares, "This is my time. This is my dream. And I'm not leaving without it. Now go. Claim it."